Good morning, it's December 6th, and this is To My Liberal Friends. I guess there's a new threat to democracy. It's not Donald Trump, it's Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and a slew of Democrats would have you think. It's Joe Biden and his fellow Democrats. Last Sunday, Joe Biden announced he was pardoning his son Hunter for any and all crimes he might have committed for a 10-year period. The breadth and scope of such a pardon is almost unprecedented. It does not list any of the crimes that might have been committed, but it encompasses any that might be uncovered. Some, including myself, have suggested that this is a way for Joe Biden to insulate himself from any investigation into the financial dealings of Hunter Biden. It would also not surprise me to see Biden give a similar pardon to his brother, James Biden, who's been involved in multiple business dealings with Hunter Biden. Well, James Biden, who is 7 years younger than Joe Biden, has been piggybacking on Joe's political career for most of his life. By most accounts, he's walked right up to any breach of ethical guidelines, leaving a complicated trail of business dealings and angry lawsuits. He dropped out of the University of Delaware to begin an investment career, and in 1972, he became the chief fundraiser for the Joe Biden for Senate campaign. And over the years, he's developed a close relationship with nephew Hunter, and the discovery of Hunter Biden's laptop in a Delaware repair shop revealed just how close they'd become. In one of the infamous emails found on the computer, it states, "Hunter, we are cut from the same cloth. You and I are fine and yes, a gentle person. Believe it or not, I know you. Sounds corny, but we both deserve to enjoy the moment. Concentrate on the good in our lives and try to step out of the bullshit you deal with on a minute-to-minute basis." End quote. Pretty damning email. James and Hunter Biden were working on a deal with Chinese executives at the time, and it was just a prelude to other foreign deals they would conjure up. The younger Biden has long traded on his brother's name and political status. He testified in February before a joint hearing of the House Oversight and Judiciary Committees that he never took out any improper loans. But according to James Biden, that fund manager, Michael Lewitt, wrote off the $225,000 in loans to Biden's firm. Mr. Lewitt denied he ever forgave the loans. What he said was a third party, who nobody's named yet, took over the debt and repaid him. This taking over the debt by an unnamed party occurred in 2020 while Joe Biden was running for president. And according to investigation by Politico, it became apparent that James Biden invoked Joe Biden's name while investing in rural hospital chain, which was the reason for the $225,000 loan. But this was not the first time that James Biden capitalized on his brother's political position. In 1998, Richard Dickey Scruggs, a famed Mississippi trial lawyer, was very close to a historic deal that would force tobacco companies to pay billions of dollars. His problem was that he needed Congress to sign off on the deal, and he had identified a senator that was skeptical of the deal. You guessed it, it was Joe Biden. Scruggs turned to Biden's younger brother James, an old acquaintance who ran a D.C. consulting firm with his wife Sarah. Scruggs paid the firm $100,000 in 1998, and I can tell you that's a good price in those days, for advice on passing the bill. Scruggs said in an interview at his office here, the first time it was disclosed the amount. Quote, "I probably wouldn't have hired him if he wasn't the senator's brother." Biden eventually backed the bill, which ultimately failed to pass Congress, but Biden did support it. Another deal that James Biden cashed in on was a $1.5 billion award to build homes in Iraq after the war in the country. James was hired by Hill International as a senior VP, and a couple months later, they won the contract. Joe Biden was the point man in Iraq in the Obama administration. It did not seem to matter that James Biden had no construction experience of any kind, but he did have the right last name and access to his brother Joe. I bring all of this stuff up because it would not surprise me to see Joe Biden give his brother a similar blanket pardon for anything he might have done. Such a pardon will not list any mention of any crimes covered in the pardon, just a metaphorically get-out-of-jail-free card for his younger brother. And now we have news that the White House is considering another batch of preempted pardons for Dr. Anthony Fauci, who has finally admitted that much of his so-called science during the COVID pandemic was made up, for Senator-elect Adam Schiff, who famously stated that he had conclusive proof of Russian collusion with the Trump campaign in 2016, and even former Congresswoman Liz Cheney, who became the token Republican on the January 6th committee and later campaigned heavily for Kamala Harris. And I suspect that all three of these people would be nervous about such a blanket pardon, and Schiff's already urged the president and staff not to do it for him. What Joe Biden should do is put an end to the lawfare campaign he and the Democrats have run against Donald Trump. He should pardon Trump on the two federal cases and end them. When he says someone was unfairly prosecuted because of who they were, he can look at the two cases in New York. How many other developers had their loan applications looked at by New York AG Letitia James? How many other cases has Alvin Bragg brought by bootstrapping an archaic law into a felony over an NDA? Urge the governor of New York to end this charade and political use of the courts. But the problem is that Joe Biden is angry. He's angry that he was pushed off the Democratic ticket and more than likely still believes he could have beaten Donald Trump. He's already pardoned his son after repeatedly saying he would not, so he seems to no longer care about any legacy he might leave, and that's a sad way to leave office. This has been To My Liberal Friends. Thanks for listening. If you enjoy the podcast on YouTube, hit the subscribe button or follow me on TikTok. Thank you.